What a bizarre year in coaches when you start to talk about Saban retiring, Harbaugh moving, Pete Carroll out of a job. I mean, these are some big time college and NFL names.
And Bill Belichick can't get a job either.
Oh yeah, he can't get a job. Yeah,
that's the crazy part.
Yeah, we need you to come back for a second interview. I guess I'm on to the second interview.
My guess is Belichick is probably demanding he wants to have total control, and people saw him as a GM, and they're like, no, we're not going to let you be a GM. We want you to be a coach.
No, he's an absolutely terrible GM, and it started with a kid that was an incredible reach out of the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. That was the center, who I can't remember his name. Hit that like button. Please smash the thumbs up button for me right now. We appreciate that. Brings more people into the channel. And let's get your thoughts. We talked about a couple of different things. New poll as we switch that up. CBS Sports gives Josh Heupel an A for 3 seasons. Right now, the choices are only A plus and B. Nobody going with a C or D. A plus has 45% of the vote, so B has 55% of the vote. Chat legend Cole Strange is who Dylan just reminded me that I was referencing. So you're getting hammered down because you would have gone A plus over B over that. So just you can admit that I'm the big winner and I'm the poll master. What?
You cheated, though. You said it at A plus or B. It should have just been A.
What did I just say? That didn't sound. What, Master? All right, here we go.
Dave loves hookers. Love the poll, guys.
Okay,
starts on the poll and then it
off the poll. That's my Chris Rock imitation. That's the best I can do. If you ever have a daughter, your only goal is to keep them off the pole. There you go. So you're having a son, though. You're having a son. You don't have to worry about that.
No, I got to keep him from selling drugs. That's the rule with the son. Is you got to keep him from selling drugs.
Don't let son sell drugs. I'm turning into Bill Cosby, which is weird.
What the? What was he thinking? Release the hounds. The Dave Hooker Show.
Keep cool.
A presentation of OffTheHookSports.com.
Here's how I would build Michigan's coaching staff. I would get an offensive guru, whoever that might be. But I would find an offensive guru, and then I would get a guy who knows how to coach with an offensive-minded coach on the other side as a head coach. And I would take a look at Tim Banks because he knows how to deal with it. Now, if Michigan doesn't go that route, and you want to go the Harbaugh route, which is physical and pretty nifty, pretty speedy, pretty different. So it's not just a boring offense, but if you want to go that route and you can find that guy, and I don't think there are a lot of those guys out there that can combine physicality with good skill position play. But if you want to try that, then the one coach I think it's obvious that you would call off Tennessee's staff, and we'll expand it out to the SEC, would be Rodney Garner. Because the issue that Michigan is going to have more so than Ohio State because of their in-state talent, they're gonna have some issues in some of those big guys. I'm talking about the 330-pound guys that anchor down the middle in the SEC. They got big athletic defensive tackles at Michigan. We've seen that with Hutchinson, who may go to the Super Bowl. But we haven't seen that consistently enough to think that they can match Georgia and what was once Alabama in terms of those big nasties. So those are the two coaches right now that I would be most concerned about losing, whether it's Michigan or anybody else calling. And I'm curious who would be on your list, but also this is about the time where you could see a coach bolt. Tennessee staff's been incredibly loyal and they've promoted from within. Is losing a coach even a concern for Tennessee this year?
I've never said losing a coach offensively is a concern. I think, and I'll talk about this outside of Glenn Ellerbe. Glenn Ellerbe is the one you don't want to lose, the offensive line coach. I don't think they care to lose. I think Josh Heupel can plug and play with receivers coach, running backs coach, his offensive coordinator. Tennessee shouldn't be paying. Sorry, I'm not trying to be a hater, guys. Tennessee shouldn't be paying Joey Halzle what they're paying him because it's Josh Heupel's offense. You should be spending money to keep your defensive coaches that you believe in more than anything else. And by the way, on the other end, I'm just a quick side note. Georgia was stupid for paying Tavares Robinson that much to run their defense. Kirby Smart's the defensive coach. I don't know what he's thinking, but
I think it's just slotted that way. So what would you do if you didn't do that? Would you just hire like a really good recruiter instead of a Halsley and say it's
Here's
my
my
offense?
loophole. If I'm Josh Heupel, I would just be the offensive coordinator and the quarterback's coach, and I would hire an extra defensive staff member.
That is not the worst idea I've ever heard, to be out of left field. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I'd do. I'd be like, I'm calling the plays. I'll be the quarterback's coach and offensive coordinator, and I'm just going to hire an extra defensive staff member and then a really good defensive coordinator. Yeah, that's what I would have done. And this isn't and by the way, I would have said that with Alex Golesh. All of you guys who actually think that losing Alex Golesh means anything, you haven't followed Josh Heupel's career. Josh Heupel won before Alex Golesh. He won with Alex Golesh. He'll win after Alex Golesh. The issue last year was very glaring, and it was about the guy that Josh Heupel wanted taking the snaps.
I agree, but a lot of people in our message board, guys I respect, are saying that people aren't happy with Joey Halsley, that he's the problem. That never even occurred to me until I saw somebody say that in December.
Yeah, but if that was the case, why was Josh Heupel's best year ever his first year at UCF, and he had Jeff Lebby as offensive coordinator? And everybody fell in love with Golesh because he put up a fight with Alabama. Not offensively. He lost that game 17-3. He put up a fight with Alabama because Nick Saban and Tommy Rees were in complete disagreement over what to do at quarterback at that time. That's all that happened in that game. And
so and help me, guys, on the message board that you absolutely don't like Halsley. I mean, does anybody? I think that his only job description was basically come up with a couple of ingenious plays, come up with 2 or 3 that are a little bit different than anything I've thought of. I'm being Josh Heupel now. And that's about all we want from you, because I'm still going to handle game preparation and I'm still going to handle play calling. But if you can come up with 2 or 3 plays that you can use every once in a while, like the Princeton fan at fullback or some of the slip screens they ran on the goal line, I remember being a couple 2 years ago. That's all I need. I don't really need you to come in and develop a game plan, do I?
That's probably all he had Alex Golesh do too, though. And I guess that's what I meant.
Agreed.
Yeah, to come up with 3 play calls that we can catch them off guard at some point in the game. Now, those play calls were very successful in 2022. They stood out. I'll give you that. But that's not the meat and potatoes of the that's not the meat and potatoes of what Heupel's going to do. Now, to get to Michigan, the thing is, and I'm going to have a video on this on how Jim Harbaugh rebuilt Michigan pretty soon. But how Harbaugh, what they run an offense called the Power Coast offense, which is the quarterback is trained in the West Coast offense, but the running game, the West Coast offense, the nature of it are zone reads on the runs. But the running game for Michigan is one-on-one blocking, winning your one-on-one matchups, even though the quarterback plays the passing game is the West Coast offense, basically. And
let me throw this at you. A bit of a pushback from Mead Drinker, but Golesh was good. Caleb, UCF played a different schedule, different opponents. Maybe I'm wrong. What's your take on that?
Okay, yeah, UCLA played a different schedule, different opponents, but it was also Josh Heupel had different talent and different players at UCF.
Don't you? But you would agree that Golesh is a better coach than Halsley, right? Just based off experience and age. If I'm hiring one, I'm hiring Golesh, not Halsley. I'm not saying he's the problem, but
I wouldn't have. I mean, yeah, I guess. But I don't think this offense, I think this is Josh Heupel's offense. I think the coordinator is a plug. And I mean, I think the assistant is honestly, and maybe I'm being unfair. I will say this, guys, up front. I said this about Kirby Smart for years, and I was wrong. I thought that was just Nick Saban's defense, and Kirby Smart was a little puppet to.
I did too. And I thought Georgia making a knee-jerk reaction to hire him when South Carolina came after him was a sad move for Georgia. And I saw that. I said that at the time. I said they should be able to get a premier coach. I was dead wrong. But I agree with you, too. I didn't think it was Kirby Smart's defense.
Yeah, I didn't either. So I've missed on this before. And see, this is where we're going to see with Harbaugh.
Can I tell you a secret?
Sure.
You ain't missing on it now. You're not missing on it now. I mean, you got it nailed down. You're exactly right. If Josh Heupel walks out the door and Halsley stays, the offense goes with the guy who's calling the plays and putting the offense together. And his name's Mr. Heupel.
Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely Josh Heupel. And this is where I don't think Michigan would target anybody from Tennessee because of that, by the way. Because Michigan, the offense, the defense at Michigan plays complementary to the offense, right? And quite honestly, Michigan wants the defense to actually win the games. And even Rodney Garner wouldn't be the best there because Rodney Garner coaches the fundamentals of playing defensive line. Michigan has to schematically shut people down defensively, which they do. Well, it's a little bit different.
Let me ask you this though, Caleb, from a different perspective. While we don't think that Tennessee staff is going to get rated, certainly the Brian Kelly, because of where he's from, to Michigan makes a lot of sense.
He ain't going, guys.
I don't think he is either. But hang tight. There may be gals out there too. Too broad of a brush. But what coaching staff would you like to see Michigan attack if you're in the SEC? I'm going to give you one that's going to surprise you. Ready? I guarantee you that the contracts haven't been signed at the University of Alabama. What if whoever Michigan hires has connections to a couple of coaches at Alabama and says, I'm calling my good buddy Ed and Tom, and I'm going to bring them to Michigan. And suddenly Alabama is going through another churn of people going, well, you promised me, Kalen DeBoer, that you were going to save my career, and you can't even keep your own coaches.
Oh my gosh, you are right.
That's
You're right. And here's the big reason that's
they
a
are
big deal.
already recruiting. I guarantee you they haven't signed their contracts.
No, you're right. See, it doesn't matter with Georgia because Georgia's actually kind of got the Tennessee Heupel thing. As long as Kirby Smart's there, Georgia's fine, right? We can agree with that. They're going to mix and match and they're going to get talent and win. Doesn't really matter. That's a very good point, though. You rate Alabama's staff, which Michigan could do, because there are some. Michigan has to win schematically. They can't just. I mean, I think Kirby Smart's loading up on talent and rolling out of football. You can tell me if I'm wrong on that.
I was told that Michigan had Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer. Sorry. I've got so many Calebs. You can at least understand me for that one, unlike the Satterwhite or Satterfield. But I was told that Michigan had Kalen DeBoer as one of their top 2 or 3 guys that they were going to go if Jim Harbaugh left. So, and I was going to throw this out to you, and I mentioned it via text. We can dive into it right now as part of what we're talking about. Heard an interview with Kalen DeBoer on the Dan Patrick Show. You know I'm a big fan. And, boy, it just really sounded like he's gotten himself into a mess. They asked about not being able to enjoy the national championship because he had to go, and he's like, that was rough. They asked about, do you actually get Nick Saban's office? He said, yes. And they said, what's that like sitting in it? And he goes, well, haven't really done it yet. And it felt like if I'm Kalen DeBoer and I've stepped into this mess when at Washington, I'm walking on water. I think Kalen DeBoer is realizing he has made a huge, monstrous mistake. Huge.
Oh, I think so too. But here's the problem. I said that, and we and you both said it at the time he made a mistake. Here's the problem, and this is kind of the issue. Alabama is Michigan circa north, or circa south. Michigan is Alabama circa north, because Michigan's a second-tier job. It's not that good of a job. They have the expectations of being the all-time winningest program, but you talk about it, Dave. You can't get the talent there, and it's
Tennessee or Michigan, better job.
Tennessee because of NIL.
They're
much more comparable.
Yeah, and they're in the SEC. There's better talent around, despite the fact that you make it.
Okay, I gotta say, you make it sound like being in the SEC is a good thing. Okay, that actually hurts you in a lot of ways too. So, like Ohio State is a very easy job because they're in the Big Ten and you can just lock off Ohio. I'm still shocked that Ohio State hasn't had a dynasty going for years, quite honestly. But look, guys, I want to point this out. And you know this, Dave. This is why when y'all bring up Brian Kelly, Les Miles was a Michigan grad. Remember how he refused to leave LSU for Michigan? Why? Because Les Miles knew the talent in Louisiana, and he knew it was a much easier job.
Yeah, that was not. I love my homeschool blah. That was. I know I have a much better job, and LSU is a much better job than Michigan or Notre Dame. Probably, I wouldn't say Ohio State, but better than Penn State.
They're comparable.
Yeah, no, I agree.
LSU and Ohio State. LSU is the peak. Those are the 2 peak jobs, and Georgia is it too, Dave. They say it in basketball, like John Calipari recruits one and dones, and he rolls out the basketball. LSU, Georgia, and Ohio State, you can just roll out the football and win a national championship, right? Get guys and roll out the football and let them play. You don't have to really coach that much, honestly. And you're not going to, that's the thing with Michigan, is that at Michigan, you do have to coach. You have to coach well too. It's not that great of a job. So I don't think they're going to raid the SEC the way they would like to raid the SEC.